Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com. The Biden administration issued their Arctic report card last week. NOAA's Arctic report card finds alarming trend in climate crisis. Let's take a look at what's going on in the Arctic to find out what it is that's alarming the Biden administration. Arctic sea ice is growing quickly. The extent is the highest in 10 years and the second highest in the last 16 years. The ice edge today is almost right at the 1981 to 2010 median. Last month, lots of ships got trapped in thick ice off the coast of Siberia. There's been historic cold in Siberia, Scandinavia, and parts of Alaska. This graph shows the Greenland's surface mass balance over the last 6 years. The surface mass balance is the difference between the amount of snow which falls on the surface every year and the amount which melts off the surface. Every year, Greenland's surface gains a lot of ice, normally a little bit less than 400 billion tons. This would create a large excess of ice, except that the ice forms glaciers, flows to the sea, and discharges into the ocean. For 3 of the past 5 years, including this year, the amount of ice gained on Greenland's surface has been above the long-term mean. And this year so far has been right at the 1981 to 2010 mean. If Arctic alarmists actually cared about the ice, they'd be ecstatic about what's been going on in Greenland. Satellite data shows that both poles last month were well below normal temperature. So what's going on in the Arctic that's alarming the Biden administration? The problem is that all of their prior forecasts have failed and they're being shown to be completely incompetent. According to the Democrats, the Arctic was supposed to be ice-free many years ago. But they understand that very few of their voters actually know what's going on in the Arctic, and they'll believe any lies which Biden tells. For the past 30 years, they've been having climate summits and lockdowns which have had no impact on the growth of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Democratic politicians pull the same scam over and over again, year after year, decade after decade, and their voters keep falling for it. But something is happening as a result of these climate agreements. Western countries are running out of energy, and it's becoming extremely expensive. Factories are being shut down in Europe because there isn't enough energy, and it's become too expensive for them to afford to operate. Meanwhile, China is massively increasing their coal output and their CO2 production. Western countries have been getting rid of their coal-fired power plants, which they need to survive, and meanwhile, China is having a coal boom. The climate scam is proceeding exactly as Donald Trump explained almost a decade ago. The concept of global warming was created by and for the Chinese in order to make U.S. manufacturing non-competitive, and it's also working in Europe. The Chinese are getting exactly what they're paying for with Western politicians and the Western press corps. Biden and Obama promised to shut down U.S. energy production and make energy prices skyrocket.
But kiddo, I want you to just take a look, okay? You don't have to agree. But I want you to look in my eyes. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel, and I am not going to cooperate. Okay?
And climate change is a great example. When I was asked earlier about the issue of coal, under my plan of a cap and trade system, electricity rates would necessarily skyrocket. Even, regardless of what I say about whether coal is good or bad, because I'm capping greenhouse gases, coal-powered plants, natural gas, you name whatever the plants were, whatever the industry was, they would have to retrofit their operations. That will cost money. They will pass that money on to consumers.
The Democratic Party and the press have an agenda which has nothing to do with climate and nothing to do with protecting the American people. It's something completely different. Toto has been calling out this racketeering for the past 14 years. You can visit him, Kyrie, and Caesar on the web at realclimatescience.com.